The age of intelligence in 2026. The United States is doing something it's never done before. It's writing the rules for intelligence itself. This isn't science fiction. It's America's upcoming AI regulation, and it might change the future of innovation, privacy, and power as we know it. And don't worry, this video won't have any AI-generated politicians. We've had enough of those already. Because what's coming isn't just another tech trend. It's a complete rewrite of how the US defines freedom in the age of algorithms. Chapter 1. The origin of control, from freedom to framework. For decades, America was the land of move fast and break things. Startups innovated. Investors celebrated. Regulators, well, they were still figuring out what TikTok was. But as AI started influencing everything from elections to employment, the question became unavoidable. How do you regulate a mind that can think faster than your laws? So, in early 2025, US lawmakers launched the National AI Governance Initiative, a coalition of experts, CEOs, ethicists, and, of course, lobbyists. Their mission? To draft America's first AI Bill of Rights. It promised 5 core principles. 1. Transparency. Know when AI makes a decision about you. 2.3. Accountability. Companies can't hide behind algorithms. 4.5. Privacy. Your data is not a commodity. 6.7. Safety. No system should harm or deceive. 8.9. Choice. Humans must stay in the loop. 10. Which sounds great, until you realize staying in the loop basically means clicking I agree on a 94-page terms of service you'll never read. But still, for the first time, America is trying to code ethics into law. Except, the people writing those laws barely understand the technology. Chapter 2. The battle for the algorithm. Lobbyists, lawmakers, and lines of code behind closed doors. A war is raging. Not between nations, but between tech giants and regulators. OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic argue that too much regulation will strangle innovation. Meanwhile, watchdog groups warn that too little will endanger democracy. And caught in the middle, startups, researchers, and, well, all of us. The key battleground is Section 301 of the AI Responsibility Act. It proposes that every high-risk AI system must be auditable. Disclose data sources. Provide an explainable decision trail. That sounds fair, right? Except here's the catch. Nobody agrees on what high risk actually means. Predictive policing? High risk. AI therapy bots? Maybe. Financial trading algorithms? Depends who's asking. 1 senator even asked if the AI overlords could be subpoenaed. And somewhere, ChatGPT just sighed in binary. But as Congress debates definitions, Silicon Valley is already moving. Companies are quietly building compliance teams, hiring ethics officers, and, in classic corporate fashion, finding loopholes before the laws even pass. Because here's the uncomfortable truth: the first country to regulate AI correctly might also become the first to control it completely. Chapter 3. When the regulators become the regulated in 2026, the US isn't just passing AI laws. It's building AI to enforce them. Compliance bots that scan millions of models. Algorithms that detect bias. In other algorithms. In other words, the regulators are becoming digital. It's like your teacher using ChatGPT to grade your essay. That was written by ChatGPT. But here's where it gets complicated. Who audits the auditing AI? Who ensures the algorithm enforcing fairness is fair itself? The deeper you go into automation, the harder it becomes to find the human hand behind the machine. Because every system that monitors control can also become a system that controls the monitor. Chapter 4. The Loop of Santoro. Imagine this. A decade from now, AI systems monitor stock markets, hospitals, courts, even elections, all under the promise of safety and accountability. But what happens when that oversight turns into oversight fatigue? When compliance becomes control, we want a protection. We might end up with permission. And that's the paradox of the American AI Act. To protect freedom, it might have to limit IT. At this point, even George Orwell would be like, okay, maybe we overdid it with the cameras. But it's not doom and gloom. Because within this system, a quiet revolution is brewing. one no algorithm can predict. Chapter 5, the human factor across the country. New movements are forming. AI researchers are teaching ethics before coding. Startups are designing transparency dashboards for every user. And artists, yes, even the ones AI tried to replace, are using it to create, not compete. Because maybe the true innovation isn't artificial intelligence, it's augmented humanity. And when the government starts treating ethics like infrastructure, the foundation becomes stronger for everyone. Though, let's be honest, ethics budget still sounds like something that would get cut first in Congress. Still, something's changing. For the first time, America isn't chasing the next big thing. It's asking what kind of world it's building it for. Chapter 6, Defining Humanity. By 2026, the US won't just be regulating AI. It'll be defining what it means to be human in a digital age. Because when every click, choice, and conversation becomes data, the real act of rebellion is staying conscious. We may never control intelligence completely, but we can guide it with wisdom, restraint, and purpose. And maybe, just maybe, that's what progress is meant to look like. And if all else fails, we'll just ask AI to regulate itself right after it. Finishes generating another 12,000 cat memes. Chapter 7. The second renaissance, the story of regulation, isn't really about laws. It's about what kind of civilization we choose to build when intelligence is no longer human exclusive. Because when machines can think, the real question becomes, what's left for us to feel, to decide, to dream? Maybe the next American Revolution won't happen in Washington or Silicon Valley. Maybe it'll happen in classrooms and living rooms, in the quiet conversations between humans trying to stay human. 1. The education paradox across universities. AI tutors are replacing entire departments. They can explain quantum physics in emojis, summarize Shakespeare in 3 seconds, and never lose patience. But professors are starting to fight back, not against the technology, but for the human context that comes with it. Because learning isn't just about answers, it's about the struggle to find them. Let's be honest. Half of education is just pretending you understand until it clicks during finals. Weak. The new generation of AI laws may soon require human-supervised learning environments, meaning algorithms that teach must also teach responsibly. In other words, America isn't just regulating machines, it's redefining mentorship. 2. The creative equation. In 2024, we said AI would replace artists. By 2026, artists are replacing their tools with AI. Painters are coding. Musicians are training neural synths. Filmmakers are directing digital actors. The upcoming AI copyright and authorship amendment will mark a turning point. Anything generated by AI must disclose its origin. That's not censorship, that's credibility. Because creativity isn't about who presses generate. It's about who had the idea to press it. And somewhere, an AI model is probably watching this video, taking notes on how to sound more human. 3. The economy of trust. Now, here's where things get interesting. AI regulation isn't just about technology. It's becoming a new economic policy. Imagine a world where trust is the new currency, where companies with verified ethical AI get tax breaks, and products without transparency labels are fined like polluters. The government calls it responsible innovation. Economists call it trust inflation. We'll call it what it is, the birth of a new market. Because somewhere, a startup is already pitching ethics as a service for $9.99 a month. But beneath the satire lies something serious. AI governance might do what no technology ever could: make integrity profitable. 4. The invisible constitution. Think about it. Every regulation we pass for AI is really a reflection of us. It's the invisible constitution of the digital age, written not in parchment, but in policy and code. We used to build systems that learned from data. Now we're building systems that learn from values. What does that even mean? It means for the first time, the law isn't just telling machines what not to do, it's telling them why. And that why, that human context, might be the only firewall that keeps intelligence aligned with empathy. 5. When data becomes destiny, every law leaves a digital footprint. And as America builds its AI oversight network, It's quietly creating the largest archive of machine decisions ever recorded. Which means someday, your grandkids might learn history, not from textbooks, but from datasets. And that's where regulation becomes something deeper. Because laws don't just guide algorithms. They guide memory. We're not just coding rules, we're coding culture. 6. The philosophy of progress. Every generation redefines progress. The industrial age said it was production. The digital age said it was connection. The AI age might say it's conscious regulation. Because for the first time, growth and restraint must coexist. Regulate too little and chaos rules. Regulate too much and creativity suffocates. The US is trying to find a middle path, a framework where intelligence serves intention and machines expand, not replace, human purpose. Of course, that assumes Congress can define artificial intelligence before the next election cycle. Point 7. The global mirror the world is watching. The EU passed its AI Act. China built its own digital ethics board. And now the US is shaping a model others might copy or challenge. This isn't just policy anymore. It's philosophy in motion. Because whichever country gets it right first won't just control the next generation of tech. They'll define the next generation of truth. And that's why this matters. Not because of the laws themselves, but because of what they say about us, how we think, how we trust, and how we evolve. 8. Beyond the legislation. So what happens when the ink dries on the American AI Act? When every company has an ethics board, every app has a transparency label, and every decision can be traced back to code. What comes next isn't regulation, it's reflection. The next era of innovation won't be defined by who builds the smartest AI. It'll be defined by who builds the most human systems. Systems that can think, but also listen. Systems that can optimize, but also understand, because intelligence without empathy isn't progress. It's precision without purpose. 9. A moment of irony. Somewhere in DC, a senator is probably watching this video, asking an aide, "So, do we have an AI to regulate AI yet?" And somewhere in Silicon Valley, a CEO just replied, "Don't worry, we're working on an app for that." But maybe that's the beauty of it. This tension between chaos and control, creation and caution, is exactly what makes humanity irreplaceable. We're not perfect, but we're aware. And that awareness, that flicker of self-doubt and humor, might be the one algorithm no machine will ever replicate. But it's not doom and gloom, because within this system, there's a quiet. Chapter 8. The architecture of intelligence. Every great civilization has built monuments to what it valued most. For ancient Greece, it was philosophy. For Rome, power. For the modern world, data. But here's the irony. In the race to build smarter machines, we've forgotten that data isn't wisdom, it's raw memory. Emotionless, infinite, and unfiltered. The new American AI framework isn't just about governing technology. It's about teaching it how to forget responsibly, because eternal memory might be the most dangerous form of intelligence of all. 1. The memory problem. Today, your data never dies. Every post, every search, every late-night purchase lives on, training models, shaping predictions, turning you into a pattern more than a person. The 2026 AI Governance Act plans to change that. It introduces something radical. The right to algorithmic erasure. A clause that says you can demand a system unlearn you. Think about that. For the first time, forgetting becomes a legal right. Somewhere, every ex on social media just got nervous. But this idea, machine forgetfulness, could reshape everything from healthcare to finance. Because sometimes, protecting the future means teaching the past to let go. 2. The algorithmic middle class. Let's shift gears. You've heard of the digital divide, but the next one might be algorithmic. By 2026, access to ethical AI could become a privilege. Premium services, unbiased recommendations, private data modes, available for those who can afford them. Meanwhile, free tools become ad-driven, data-hungry, subtly manipulative. The algorithmic middle class is emerging, a world where privacy has a price tag. Imagine walking into Starbucks and your AI assistant Whispers, Grande Latte, $5. Privacy mode, that's $15. The US government knows this divide is coming. That's why part of the AI Act includes public access AI, federally funded models trained to serve everyone, not sell to anyone. It's the digital equivalent of public libraries. Only now, instead of lending books, they lend trust. 3. Democracy. In the age of algorithms, democracy was built on debate, on disagreement, discourse, and the messy beauty of human decision. But AI thrives on optimization. On consensus, efficiency, prediction. So what happens when governance meets computation? The US is experimenting with AI-assisted legislation, algorithms that help lawmakers test policies in virtual simulations before they become real laws. Sounds great, until you realize the bias in those models can literally write history. Because if a simulation predicts one group will benefit less, what happens next? Do we adjust policy or adjust the people? Somewhere, a senator is probably typing, ChatGPT, write me a bipartisan bill that actually passes. The truth is, we're not just coding laws anymore. We're coding futures. Because progress, real progress, doesn't happen overnight. It's built one smart decision at a time. If you want to learn how to harness that same exponential power, not just in technology, but in your life, click the next video on your screen, The Power of Compounding. Because while the future of AI is being written in code, the future of your wealth is written in choices. Subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell icon for more videos. Thank you.